Howdy folks, AD Squared here today to show you a DIY step-by-step guide on how to install one of these flush mount light fixtures in your bedrooms. I'm not going to show in this video how to remove the old light fixture, but by following along in these steps, you're going to be able to work in reverse and be able to do so. After unboxing the product, these are all the pieces that are going to come inside of the box. This here is the canopy, where all of the actual wires come out, and we can see here we're going to have a total of 2 hot wires, which are these black ones, and the same thing, we're going to have 2 neutral or white wires, each one powering a particular socket where the light bulb is going to go, and both of the sockets are going to share the same ground wire that you see here. Over here, we've got the shade that's going to cover the light bulbs. Then we've got the piece here called the bottom cover, as well as what's called the nipple with all these threads, along with the hex nut and the very final piece at the bottom that you see here. Over here, we've got the bracket that we can optionally decide to install if we wanted to remove the old bracket that's up there, or we can try installing it using the existing one already installed in the ceiling. Over here, we've got a total of 4 screws. The 2 small ones are the ones that are going to attach the bracket to the actual light mount in the ceiling, and the 2 longer ones are the ones that we're going to be using to install the canopy onto the bracket. And lastly, out of the box, we get 2 wire nuts as we see here, but as you'll see shortly, that may not be sufficient and you may need to have some additional ones. As we can see here from the existing setup, we also have 1 hot wire, which is the red one, several neutral wires, which we're going to be reusing, and then 1 ground wire. Fast forwarding, you may want to have some of these handy just in case if the ones that come out of the box are not long enough to be able to install the canopy correctly, which was the case for me. I needed to buy these, which are 2 inches, almost twice the length as the ones that came out of the box. Very first thing we're gonna be doing is the actual wiring. Before doing this, be sure that you've turned off the power at the circuit breaker. You do not wanna be dealing with wires if they are live. Since this is gonna take me some time to show how to finish wiring things up here, I'm gonna go ahead and use this time to encourage you to check out my YouTube channel for a lot more content around DIY, do-it-yourself repairs, renovations, or maintenance projects. I show just about everything you need to learn how to do to become pretty handy around the house, ranging from electrical work, plumbing work, flooring work, drywall work, and many other tips that can save you hundreds of dollars from having to hire our contractor. So no matter if you're a homeowner, a renter, or someone that's curious to learn how to be handy, you're gonna learn a lot. So be sure to subscribe to not miss out on any nuggets of wisdom. Okay, as we see here, we're still working on the wiring setup, but now we've gone ahead and finished wiring the hot wires, the neutral wires, and now I'm connecting the ground wire as we see here. Now that we've got all of them together, the last thing you want to do is do a pull test where you take every single wire and you pull to make sure that it's not going to come loose and it's on there nice and secure. Another tip you typically would see here is using electrical tape to really secure the wires and avoid them from coming loose in the future. I don't go ahead and do that here because I really made sure they were under tight. Now, before we continue with the rest of the installation steps, we want to make sure that the actual electrical setup is wired correctly, and so we're going to turn on the light switch on and off just to make sure that it does come on. Next step is preparation for being able to mount a canopy to the bracket. In order to do so, we're going to take the 2 long screws you see here and screw them in just ever so slightly so that they're secured onto the bracket. Once that's done, then this is the part that's a pain in the ass. You have to grab the canopy, and using the 2 holes you see on the side here, you have to take the screws and make sure that they go through the holes that you see there, and then slightly rotate the canopy so that the screws are now essentially on the thinner part of the hole, allowing you the ability to then take a drill and screw the screws all the way in to secure the canopy. Once secured, you take essentially the threaded nipple and be able to secure that on the canopy as you see in this final product. With that in place, the next step is to get ready to install the shade onto the canopy. In order to do so, you're going to want to determine how long you need the threaded nipple to be able to stick out. And in order to extend it, all you have to do is unthread it the way you see me doing it here, and then secure it using the hex nut once you believe you've established the right length. Once you do that, go ahead and install both light bulbs. Try putting on the shade, and again, just determine if you've got enough of the threaded piece at the bottom to be able to secure it using the final piece. Remember to put the bottom cover first to not damage the shade when you're tightening this. Be sure you pull down to make sure it's under secure and that there's no chance that this ends up falling in the future. We're going to do one final test just to make sure that the light still turns on and that nothing's changed. this is working beautifully. And in the case that you had to do any rewiring or your light switch, as you can see with mine, is not attached, the last step I'm going to show here is how to put that back together. It's really simple. As you can see, all it takes is one screw and then screwing that into the hole that you see from the light box here. You're going to do that for both the top and bottom holes. Be sure not to over tighten, otherwise you might bend the actual light switch metal frame, and that's going to cause the light switch to be too deep into the wall, which is not going to look good once you put the plate back on. To put the plate back on, all you have to do is just place that over the light switch, make sure that the holes are aligned, and then screw in both screws at the top and at the bottom, and that's all there is to it. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a like and also share it with others. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in any more content around DIY do-it-yourself repairs, maintenance, and renovation projects, or interested in learning more about homeownership or real estate, be sure to check out my YouTube channel for more nuggets of wisdom. As always, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, and till next time.